títere, ¿qué es la que está pasando? Algo nuevo por ahí que te trae. Hago un recorte. La verdadera página. El verdadero canal.
Welcome back to another chapter of Gangsta's Universe, your podcast Universo Urbano 787, where we don't just share the urban stories of Puerto Rico in a unique way, but we strive to extract a message, a lesson from each story so that others who are on a similar path can reconsider. Well, my people and perhaps save a life, right? That is my mission, our vision as my platform. Jose and our collaborators. We advise you not to let it defeat you. It doesn't matter what they say about you. If you decide to change and do good, forget about the rest. Well, my people, this is a story I didn't personally live through, but obviously I could hear all those shootings, those characters, but we didn't live it. Though we studied it thoroughly, and it is first rate. My people, this was the biggest coup that has ever been dealt to a thug. Just like a coup d'etat. And who was this coup d'etat given to? To none other than the notorious German, the monster. Who was German, the monster? The most infamous thug in Monte throughout its entire history. He had his notorious hitman squad. He began to take command of Monte from the early 80s. And after going to jail, his friends staged a coup d'etat. Well, it is said that German, the monster, after controlling Monte for several years, a case was sought and he was sentenced to life in prison, as we say in Puerto Rico. What happens when he fell is he left several of his allies, his best friends, his partners, his parents, his siblings, in charge of the slum. Among those, a certain Pichile de Jota Cano Barroso a Juan de Dios, another gunman. It said that Alex didn't visit everyone he left behind when he was jailed. He left Carlos from the Caserio. What's up, people? These were the times of the 80s, right? And at the end of the 80s and into the 90s, where every big shot who established a point in the Caserio fell prisoner, and that point still remains theirs. They have to pay him the money from his businesses if he decides to rent it to someone. But it was understood that the point was still owned by this person. What's happening? Once he was crippled and jailed, his friends stopped sending him money, allegedly from what I have heard, from the sales of his own point. What's happening? Maybe they thought to forget about it. They turned it off, so they're going to send Chavo to him. The man, the monster is coming. It seems that his hatred was so uncontrollable that what no one expected happens. He escaped from jail, my people. Then the man begins to come for him and start several wars with his own friends from Monte. He allegedly entered into a war with those from Berguin and ended up murdering alongside other gunmen, taking the life of a much-loved person there known as Canito Berwin, and now Elman is after him. Those who are already making money from his situation want him out of their way now because they don't want to stop earning their money from that. So they go to war. It is said that many people tried to resolve these problems, and they called for several meetings in residential areas, either in Monte and Montepar. During one of these meetings, from what I heard, they met up and the police showed up. An odd coincidence, indeed. Elman was the target. He wanted revenge. They gathered and heard the police coming. So the meeting ended prematurely. What happened next was they had another meeting where Dan and Elman allegedly arrived without his gunmen. Whether they stayed near or far, I don't know those details, but it is said that he was with them, but he didn't go to the meeting with them. He was accompanied by another friend who we won't name out of respect for his privacy, even though other media outlets have already mentioned him. He allegedly went with this friend to meet, and there were all the leaders from Montepar there, from Montetillo and Berwin, to reconcile the situation with Elman, who wasn't the one to blame since it was his situation. They are taking it away from him, and he is after those related to him, and allegedly, when they were already in the place, his companion decided to kill Elman with a shot to the back of the head, and after that everyone who was there began to riddle Elman's body with bullets. Such was the fear that they had of Elman that they even had people positioned on the rooftops of a building with rifles, further riddling Elman's body. At the same time as German's murder, it's said that around the same time, in Villa Fontana in the Carolina area, his men were murdered, including his right-hand men, among them Carlota, who legally participated in the murder of Canito Berwin, a certain Gordo Floyd, and also a certain Tito Flamboyant. This was a tremendous coup d'etat planned to perfection. They eliminated German squad. Now the real trouble begins.
Why?
Because they had allied together to end German, as he was a super powerful and dangerous enemy. And once the danger was eliminated, that's when the power struggle in Montetillo began. It is believed that the other high-ranking officers, after killing German, assumed control. Cano Barroso, who was one of German's toughest partners, and who was a notorious and powerful figure in those days. Alex Long and a certain Kiko.
What happens?
I imagine the discord begins, the mistrust plans of who wants to take over now. Now each one wants to kill the other to have what those who understand each other are prospects to control Montetillo. They now begin to plot things to acquire power. For example, Alex Long, who had Kiko as a friend, it was said that Kiko also wanted to be the head of Montetillo. So, perhaps based on mistrust, it's believed that Alex Long murdered Kiko on a normal day. It is said in the media that I have studied that Tito Fila, another notorious figure in Montetillo's history, got out of jail and he stoked the fire. He set up trouble for Alex Long to murder Kiko, something that was not well received by anyone, especially not by Cano Barroso, who allegedly ordered the murder of Alex Long for said act.
What happens?
Alex Long then fights back, and it's said that he assumed power not only in Montetillo but also in Monte Park and Berwyn, in 3 residential areas at the same time. And he started to kill indiscriminately, and allegedly his own friends began to see him as an oppressor. Among the things he did during his time,
Did they attempt to murder someone?
a police officer. He did that when Kiko was alive. They attempted to kill an undercover agent or a contact agent. This agent was injured, he was in a coma, and then with time, they say he became the director of the drug business. And another thing Alex Long did was he was allegedly pursuing an enemy. This enemy broke into a residence, perhaps his own residence, or he was already in the residence when Alex Long engaged in a crossfire with him. 2 little girls died in that incident. Deaths? Well, the people on the streets blamed them on Alex Long as well. If I recall correctly, another young man was injured too. But these deaths were attributed to Alex Long, who was viewed as an abuser. Were lost, but nobody talks about that. Then Cano Barroso ordered Alex Long's murder, but they failed. Alex Long survived and got arrested. In that shootout where Alex Long was injured, the same person also shot Tito Fila, leaving him paralyzed. The problems in Montetillo continued. And they said Pichiles, right? Another one that goes way back. He wanted to run the village and they murdered him too. Juan de Dios, another name in the story, was said to have lost his sphere of influence. I don't know if they managed to completely remove him from Montetillo, but it is said that somehow he managed to regain control and was able to return to the town. And after a while, as you know, they were murdered too. Alex Long went to jail. Fortunately for him, it is said in the media that the murdered children could have been related to someone notorious. Others say that he was killed because he was an abuser. Others say it was a contract killing by enemies. But in the end, he was murdered in jail. Well, folks, what lessons do we learn from here? For me, the greatest lesson is, from then on, if you get arrested and had a position, don't expect them to preserve it for you. It doesn't happen anymore. I have experienced it personally with other people. They take everything and tell him to deal with it. When you get out, you have to plan with the thought that people are going to serve those 30 or 40 years to which they were sentenced. Then that person gets out, and when you see him face to face, you see a demon. That's one of the things we learn from this program. I understand the betrayal from one's own friends in the drug business, folks. His German's friends, his partners, they stopped sending him money. Supposedly one of them was the only one who gave him a couple thousand when he got out. Well, folks, I hope you learned how these people from Hatillo functioned in terms of gaining power. They had no qualms about killing people. It doesn't matter that they grew up together, that they were friends. Any doubt, any unfounded slander from another person couldn't prevent them from committing murders against their own friends.
Another lesson we can glean from this story is how people who grew up together, were brothers once, and good friends, can drift apart, right? It's amazing what we've experienced, isn't it? In our daily interactions with ourselves. Well, my friends, until next time, thank you for the support. Blessings to you, to your loved ones, to those present and those not with us. Take care of yourselves, folks.